there's no such thing as a completely clean data set. For that reason, we load data into Power Query, and then we do a little bit of cleaning, a little bit of preparation before we then load it into Power BI. And I love Power Query. I think it's a great tool, and it kind of often gets overlooked because it's not really doing the really cool part, but necessary completely, and for me, very good fun. But what I really like about it is the fact that you can learn really easily from yourself. As in, you can click on the buttons, you can go in there with very little knowledge really of how it's done, but know what you want to do, achieve that, and not really know anything. But at the same time, if you pay a bit of attention, you can learn pretty quickly some helpful M being the language that is used in Power Query. And I'm going to give an example of that right now. This is not advanced at all, but it's just an example of how you can start to learn. And the example is this. So we're going to do something first in 3 steps, and then we're going to improve that, and we're going to get it into just 1 step. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my column, and I want to add the name of the day. And then I want to transform it, uppercase it, and then I'm going to transform that column, and I'm going to say, just give me the first 3 characters. So, very quick data transformation, and I have the day names as I want them, but here it's taken 3 steps. So we can improve that, we can make it better, we can make this query cleaner, which is very important to do, especially when you have a very messy data set, and you're going to have lots of steps. You want to make sure you have as few as possible, and it helps anyone else really understand what's going on. So first of all, what I always say is always switch on this formula bar right here. Just switch it on, and it helps you read. It helps you see what's happening. So for example, the first thing I can see here, we said take the first 3 characters. Here it says text start 3. So I can just copy and paste text start. And here we have uppercase text, and we can see text upper. So I can just copy and paste text upper. And the first thing that we did was this, was day of week name. And I have that as well. So I'm just going to copy that, and I'm going to put it in my notepad. And as you can see in my notepad, when I put it on the screen, we have these 3 things. And that's all we need to know to create the column on our own. And that column will be done in 1 step, not 3 steps. So how do we do that? We are going to do this. We are going to add a column and call it day short. And here, the first thing I want to do, just to really break it down, is to create the long form, lowercase, of the name of the day. And we just go date, day, and as you type, you can see things being suggested. So if you can't remember it, if you just want to do something with a date, you can just type date dot, and it'll suggest all the possibilities. But this is the one that we want, day of week name. Be careful here because it has this annoying little feature where it doesn't actually complete, but rather writes after. So you want to get rid of that because it's just date dot day of week name, as we can see here from this thing that we copied. And then I'm going to reference the column itself by this, and yeah, you can either click on it here, or you can actually type it yourself like that. So we have our date, day of week name. I click on OK. That's what it gives me. Nice. Now, the next 2 steps we'll do together. Rather than doing one and then showing, we'll do just both at the same time. We want text dot upper, and what that is going to do is going to capitalize it. And then the very first thing we want is we want the text dot start. Let me do that. In this case, we're not going to close a bracket. We're going to do the comma 3 because that's actually saying text dot, and from the start, how many. So text dot start, text dot upper, and then day dot day of week name. We click on OK. Beautiful. So as you can see here, in this one step, we've achieved what we did previously in 1, 2, 3 steps. So if I just drag this up here and I go delete until end, you can now see that we have it. Instead of 3, we have 1 step. And for me, yes, it's a very basic example, but it's more the example that you can learn by just reading what you've done. So you can do something, you can create your mess, you can create your long list of applied steps. This is perfectly valid, especially when you're kind of just going through data for the first time, kind of see how you can get to where you want to go. When you know, then you can go back through your applied steps and you can clean them up and have a nice clean process. And yeah, this for me is a wonderful thing in Power Query. Not only is it a great way to, as I say, clean and prepare your data, it's also a really great place to learn. I personally love writing in M, probably because it helps me prepare my data and actually makes it easier to write a lot of DAX. So yeah, that is my little short video on Power Query. Hope it helped. Hope you learned something. If you did, please feel free to subscribe. That's always much appreciated from my side. And thank you very much. And goodbye.